Welcome back to Season 1, Episode 5 of TVGP's Critical Misses. Season 1, where we're going all the way through the Fast Saga. And we're up to 2011's Fast 5. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me, as always, is Moonpir.
Hello.
Moonpir, who just hit his hand very badly and is in a good amount of pain. These are the real risks we take when we're recording audio. It's not a cushy job, people.
Yep. This is a dangerous environment, a desk with a computer. You never know what might happen.
Yeah, a side-swiping car could just come right
through the second floor of my building.
Hey, man, you never know. Do you have precious jewels and gems in your house?
I don't, but we do have some cars with automated robot things on the street, so that's a reference that you won't get for like another 4 movies.
There you go. Well, before that, we're going to talk about our thoughts about starting Fast 5.
So I want to start this episode off by basically saying I'm trying my best to not overhype this, because Fast 5 kind of has been overhyped.
It seems like it's a lot of people's, if not their favorite, it's like, ooh, Fast 5 is so good.
And I'm not going to lie, but I'm going to show you, for the audio listeners, Boston can tell me what my note says there for Fast 5.
Swear word, yes!
With a double underline as well, just to make the point. So I'm not trying to overhype this.
No, yeah. But I have heard, we talked last episode about, the Phoenix had to die in Fast & Furious so that Fast 5 could rise again, and it seems like, hey man, this is the Fast and Furious stuff we really wanted.
Yep. And oh boy, start into this movie, chef's kisses all around. Quick notes as well, by the way.
Sure.
There's so many little things in this movie.
Okay.
I cannot wait for your notes. You will have a note probably within the first 20 seconds of this movie, starting.
I like it.
No, maybe not 20 seconds, because that has to happen first. Maybe within the first 2 minutes, you'll have a note, which I will make a note of now because I already know about it for next week.
Okay.
As a side, Justin Lin, the director of this movie, also the director of the last movie, also the director of the next movie, I believe, he was not happy with the fans' reactions to the use of CGI in Fast 4.
Sure. Understandable.
So this is a whole bunch of physical cars.
Nice. That's what I like.
There is minimal use of CGI in this movie.
Yeah, there we go. No tunnel racing. I like it.
No tunnel racing. No stupid can't see anything except for the video game red barrels.
That's right. That's right.
Get ready for some real cars.
That is the best selling point.
Yes, 100%. But tell me about this movie, Boston. Tell me.
The only question that I have for you is this the Fast and Furious movie that has the dragging the bank vault?
Yes.
Okay.
I wish you didn't know about that, but yes, that is this movie.
That's literally the only thing I know, because every time people talk about Fast 5, they're like, oh, the bank vault stuff. And that's the first thing out of everyone's mouth. It's like, oh, the bank vault. It's like, I literally know nothing else other than that. I just know that at some point, someone drags a bank vault.
Yes.
And it's incredible, apparently.
Also the movie where they decide to embrace the law.
Right, yeah, this is our Avengers tying up Phase 1.
This is the Phase 1 of the Fast franchise.
Right.
Big movie. So get ready for so many references.
I like it.
So many references.
But that's been a good part about us watching the movies sort of sequentially like this, is that
and in quite a short period of time too. Yeah,
because we should start catching. I should start catching some of that stuff. I'm sure there's some stuff that I'd probably miss unless I'd watch it, 2 or 3 times. But I'm excited to see them start tying all that stuff together. Or attempting to.
I think there's 2 or 3 in this which are real. They don't even really acknowledge it. It's just a little wink and nod kind of thing, which is a reference to previous ones. Okay. And those are my favorite ones. And the first one happens really early in the movie too. So
okay. It's like one of those true fans things where it's like, you've watched the first 4 about 40 times, you're going to get this little wink. Yeah.
100%. Do we know about for lack of a better way to phrase this, the stars of this movie?
No. I actually don't know who's in this.
Okay, so obviously Paul Walker and
Vincent Diesel.
are back.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. The big two.
Mm-hmm. This is also the first appearance in the Fast franchise of the biggest drama behind closed doors.
Oh, okay.
Because this is the first appearance of The Rock.
Oh, right.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson makes his Fast debut in this movie.
Okay. That's
the
exciting.
real drama doesn't start until the next movie.
Okay.
And it gets really bad in the movie after that.
Is that why he's sort of been pushed off to the Hobbs and Shaw series?
Well, let's just say my theory is he came in for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
The fans received him well. And my presumption is he got a 3-movie contract from it.
Sure. And I mean, when The Rock is received well in an action movie, they're like, come on in, man. We got plenty more movies for you.
So here is a 3-movie contract.
Sure.
Let's do 6. Let's do 7. Oh no, everybody hates you and you hate everybody. What can we do to finish off The Rock's contract?
Let's get Jason Statham in here.
Exactly.
He'll save it.
So, yeah. There is some drama down the line, which honestly I would probably go into more in depth on 7, which is the last mainline appearance of The Rock. But oh boy, is that drama something hilarious.
Some good tasty drama for us.
But the weird thing is, it seems to have balanced itself out, and now there is a mutual respect / disdain at the same time between the people the drama was caused by.
Sure, just, I know I don't like you, you don't like me, we're just gonna stay away from each other and things will be fine.
Exactly.
Right.
That seems to be where it goes. But let's try not to think about the drama, because this is Fast 5, and this is before drama existed.
The return of real-life cars.
The return of real-life cars.
Yep.
We don't know who's starring in it, other than the two main guys and The Rock now.
Right.
I'm
assuming they're going to find some way to bring Letty back to life, or like she was in witness protection, working for the FBI, underground, wink. Whoops, we made a 5th one.
Okay, so there is an after-credits scene in this movie.
Okay, because there wasn't in 4,
wasn't
right?
in the last one.
Right.
Apparently there was in 1, which I never have seen in my life, and that's fine.
I will have to go back and watch that, I guess.
I think the end of 1 is it's Vin Diesel in Puerto Rico, which doesn't happen until 3 movies later. But that's fine.
Ferrari,
whatever.
Vroom.
Yes,
he's back.
Let's get this out of the way right now. The after credit stinger in this is it's a picture of Letty. So she is not in this movie.
Right. Okay.
So I will let you watch the after credit stinger and see the full effect of that.
Okay.
But Letty is not in this movie, unfortunately.
Okay. Interesting. I'm trying to think if there's any other expectations I have of this. I'm very excited to watch it. I will probably watch it tomorrow night because I usually end up finishing editing all this stuff way too late to stay up and watch a movie. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to. I just got a new phone, which has a 4K HDR screen, so I'm a little excited to watch
it on your TV. On your TV.
I'm gonna try. It's just there's very little opportunities for me to be without child in the living room. Yeah, because she doesn't really like a lot of violence in shows, which I think she would just be like, whatever, I'm going to go somewhere else. But the swearing she's 3, so I don't want her to be like,
yeah, I'm
Vin Diesel, bleep, bleep, bleep. It's like, oh, God.
Honestly, I don't think there is that much bad language in this. There is a couple of swears here and there, but not a whole lot. This is mostly, it does have some violent moments, we'll say.
Yeah. Car-on-car violence.
Also
import versus muscle.
Also people on people violence. Like,
well, last movie we saw, Vin Diesel just pick up Brian O'Connor like a rag doll and just whew.
Yep. This is probably the start of the superhero as well. Like, these aren't normal human beings kind of
right. Is the first 4... were fairly
kind of based in reality.
grounded. Like, at the very least, this person could probably do this thing in the car. Like the outside of car stuff we talked about at the beginning of last movie. Paul Walker just lands on a dude on a car and they're both okay. It's sort of like, that's probably not as great, but okay, it's an action movie. I can suspend my disbelief for a little bit.
Yeah,
but
this is where the punching and kicking of people starts.
Okay, right. The real fist fighting begins.
Yes, this is where it goes from a car action movie to a car action movie with a little bit of fighting in it.
Yeah, that sounds okay to me. All right, any last notes here before we go watch the movie?
I really don't want to say anything else because anything else I say, I'll be like, oh, this moment and that moment, and we can do that all next week.
This cool thing and that cool thing and the 15 other things. Right. All right, well, on that note, let's go watch the movie. We have watched the film Fast 5, 2011's Fast 5, and we're back here to chat about it. The first thing I want to talk about is my favorite quote of this movie, as I am wont to do, and
is this
probably my favorite quote of the whole franchise.
Is this the one that you said you were going to open the show with?
I did, and I took a screenshot of it so I could remember it. It is The Rock saying, and above all else, we don't ever let them get into cars.
Yup.
If you want something to encapsulate how dumb and incredible these movies are, it's that line of these federal agents being like, hey man, don't let these dudes into cars. If you do, we're boned.
Yep.
It's like, that's so dumb and incredible.
Yep.
And, gosh, okay. So starting from the
really quick though, I've got a line. Yeah. I took a guess at what this line was going to be because we talked about this. I thought it was going to be, we're going to need a team from Paul Walker, which would have been about the time you texted me. Would have been about the time that line showed up. So instead, I wrote, we're going to need 2 precision podcasters who never stop recording.
Oh no, that's good. That'll be the on the poster for Critical Misses Season 1.
Yep.
Let's start from the beginning, though.
Yes.
I think so far the best title card sequence, they flipped a bus, the bus lands, and boom, Fast 5.
Yep.
It's so good.
And the immediate pickup from the end of 4. Immediate collection. It's like 4 ended with the cliffhanger tease kind of thing. 5 starts with that exact same scene. And my favorite thing is that isn't even the banger of a scene I was talking about the movie starting with. That comes up real shortly.
Yeah, minute 2 minutes 6 seconds. Perd Hapley shows up.
Perd Hapley, 2 minutes in.
Yep, there you go. You heard with Perd. A really great. He showed up and I was like, oh, that's what Moon wanted me to to keep an eye out for. Yeah, all right, that's the real banger of the intro there. I wrote, so this is what a Fast Saga movie with a budget looks like, huh?
Yes.
Like,
1,000%.
As soon as they're showing the two of them driving through Rio, O'Connor and Mia, there's like a score.
And a helicopter shot and...
Yeah, like there's like, you can tell they've done some post-production on the film. It's sort of like, okay, yeah, like, especially after the lows of 4...
Yep.
Bringing up to 5, we're like, we're making a film. It's like, oh, well, hello. Hi there.
Good to see you. How are you doing?
Yeah, nice to see you. Nice to see you, Budget. Vince is back, which was not a character I would have ever guessed to return in the saga.
Did you notice the little touch with Vince? The tiny little touch?
No.
His right arm is absolutely covered in scars. From where he got the metal band wrapped around his arm in the first movie and tore up his arm. So when he's driving, I think he's driving one of the cars in the beginning, and he shifts a gear, and you can just see these deep red scars all over his arm.
Oh man! Well, now I got to go watch it for a third time. All of that stuff is fine, and of course, there's one last super easy car heist they're gonna do. And has my favorite Dom entrance where the side of that train car falls and he just struts in out of the sunlight. Yeah, it's just like, oh man, that was super cool.
So yeah, I mean, they meet up with Vince. I love the fact that Vince is like, Mia, hi, Buster.
We're back after just a touch of technical difficulties because computers hate us.
Yes.
We were talking about the beginning Buster.
Yeah.
We're talking about him greeting O'Connor. I feel like it makes a lot of sense that, you know, O'Connor and Mia are on the run and everybody's split up and Vince is sort of like, hey man, I got a job for you and you sort of can't say no.
Yeah,
so...
and you kind of owe me because I keep throwing the past in your face.
Right, like I had to escape from the U.S. to Rio thanks to somebody.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, it's all your fault kind of thing. Also, we found out in this scene that Mia is pregnant.
Yes, because there's a really good shot of her shoveling food in her face and O'Connor is sort of eating, not slowly, but not quickly. And then quickly afterwards, she's like, oh, a baby. And the Vince's wife is like, does he know? And I was like, oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, makes sense.
But yes, moving on to the actual banger of the start of this movie, the train heist.
Oh, man. What a hell of a scene. Like, there's so much good stuff in the scene, and there's so many incredible shots, even of the tow truck thing that they're driving, just sort of bouncing along the hills.
Yeah, the welder truck that's just pure hydraulics. Like that thing is just 100% hydraulics, and when it hits that jump and it lands and it's like doing a stoppy going forward, and it's just like, okay, that's a great vehicle.
Yeah, and it's so funny because it seems like it is tailor-made for this specific heist in a really dumb way. I like that. I like this whole scene. I like them yanking the cars out of the train and just like dumping them on the ground and everyone going their separate ways. I like O'Connor totally screwing up the job by like T-boning the train with this hydraulic thing.
Well, it goes wrong before that because they want the GT40, and Vince understands Puerto Rican or Portuguese as it is, and he's like, no, we're gonna figure out exactly what's going on here. Technically, the job would have been fine if he hadn't have done that. It would have been a fine call if they would have just given the cars to him.
But something was weird. Yeah. And I like Mia's answer of, I look better in this one anyway.
Yep. But yeah, the fight on the hydraulic truck with Walker and, you know, everybody's getting into...
That's a pretty good fight.
I'm going to kind of ruin this movie for you a little bit now. Because I watched this movie 3 times this week. I know you watched it twice. I did once watch, once background, and once with the giant bomb commentary on. And Vinny has kind of ruined this for me a little bit because he refers to the start of this movie as an Uncharted movie. A middle-aged man in jeans hanging off the back of a truck chasing down a train.
Sure, and through a desert.
The Rock Squad as the Wildlands crew.
All right, yeah, I can agree with that. I thought the train heist was really great until they escape. And they're like, yeah, we're racing away from the explosion. Oh my God, there's a cliff. And I was just like, yeah, that was awesome. Oh my God. There's something about that shot where it's like, we got away. Nope. That's just, we have messed up.
I love the shot of them getting off the car. Like, that's a really cool shot because you do get the weightlessness of them, like, Paul's on the back and Vin's in the front. And they're just like, oh, we're just going to float out because and
the car's dropping out of frame. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think The Rock's intro is really interesting, aside from my new favorite quote, because his portrayal is so antithetical to the rest of the films, because he's this fast talking, like, you do this, you do that, go do this.
He's a military man.
Very much so. And it's really interesting to kind of, there's this easy comparison between the family, who's kind of relaxed, we're going to do a heist, but it's going to be kind of cool and we're going to have some fun. And this dude who's like shooting from the hip, like, pew, 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 get me this lady, get it, stay out of my way. That sort of thing. And I think where that doesn't work in Too Fast, Too Furious, I think it really works in this one.
You mean with the bad guy in 2 being like trying to be hyper serious, but also like not really pulling it off?
Yeah, and I think part of the problem that both of us had with Too Fast, Too Furious was everybody's speaking too fast, and it's almost on top of each other. And I was worried that would happen with The Rock here because that's how his character is. But I think there's something about it that works because the rest of the people in the movie are very subdued. And here's this guy who's, you're right, kind of the bad guy, not the main bad guy, but who's doing this fast talking stuff. And I think it somehow really works.
Yeah, his performance in this is incredible. I would say number one, his entrance is incredible. Second best entrance of the series, in my opinion. The best entrance for a character in the series actually comes in 7. That's the best entrance. Okay. But his acting in this is so deliberate. Everything he does in this movie feels like it's measured and it's done with experience and something he feels like he needs to do to get the job done, which is what...
He's in command.
Yeah. Like, his orders to everybody, like, he trusts his gut. But yeah, he's a very by-the-book military guy. And it's really easy to see that against the happy-go-lucky, let's just improvise kind of thing of, of the crew kind of thing. And it's just like, okay, cool. And not to mention, this is the start of Big Rock, where...
Yes, he's huge. Oh my God. It's so funny, like when him and Vin Diesel are fighting, Vin Diesel is big and The Rock is just like a mountain of meat. Man.
The Rock is 6'5", I think, and he is just a wall of muscle.
He really is. And like everybody's sweaty in this movie, and like every time there's up in his face, it's just like this sweaty wall of meat. Sheesh.
It's so good. But yeah, we do actually get the start of the we're a team of superheroes thing with the Vin Diesel and Paul Walker being caught thing, because Vin Diesel just snaps those handcuffs like they don't even exist.
Right, yeah.
Which I was like, okay, so this is how you're setting it up for going forward. So a slow, gradual build up to we're really just all Captain America kind of thing.
Well, and I think there's another interesting part about this is when The Rock, he's Hobbs, right?
Yes, Luke Hobbs.
Okay. When he's first introduced, some of his squad is like, why are we chasing these two, like, car thieves?
It's Helena.
What is happening?
Helena asks that of him. She's like, something doesn't make sense. Like, they run when they ought to hide. They stay when they ought to leave. They something's off here. I don't think they killed those DEA agents on the train. And The Rock's just like, I don't care. Throws the file away and is like, these are 2 names that hit my desk and that's what it's going to take.
Well, when his crew is asking him at the beginning, I think it's really interesting because he lays out, you sort of, it's easy to forget the laundry list of felonies that the two of them have committed. And it's really funny because he's like, okay, O'Connor used to be a federal agent and it is going to be one step ahead of you, yada, yada, yada. And here's this other dude who was stealing cars for like 20 years, broke out of jail twice, and doesn't really care about anything. It's like, right, they are kind of badasses. Yeah, you're right. Kind of forgot about all that.
It gives them a little bit of credence to how they can pull this stuff off. Like, it's a really cool character building, to use the wrestling terms. They build each other up to make a big money, like, rivalry that later turns into a big money team. But we'll get to that eventually.
Right. I liked Hernan Reyes as the bad guy. He wasn't in the movie a ton, but had that that quiet menacing, other than when he like shoots the messenger at that one point. The rest of the movie, he's kind of quietly menacing, where it's like, I run this joint and someone is messing with my money and you're going to do something about it.
Yeah. I especially love they escape. We get the favela chase, which is a great scene and a great introduction of The Rock and his Wildland squad, because they like take out all of the.
The Rock just runs through a wall. It's like chasing Vincent Diesel. He just busts through a wall and he's like, "Hey man, I'm here."
Yeah, and you got like the rooftop running, and Paul Walker doing a whole bunch of his own stunts there. I think Mia did a lot of hers too in that situation.
Nice.
I love the female representation in this movie. All really good, strong women, and I absolutely adore it.
What's the police agent, the Rio police agent's name?
Helena.
Yeah, she's dope.
Yes.
I like her a lot. She's just like, hey man, I've had a real tough time lately, and I'm a cop to fix things, and I guess we'll capture these people, but maybe in traditional Fast Saga ways, maybe they're not the bad guys. Yep. Wait a minute.
It turns out it was the family you made along the way.
That's right.
But yeah, no, we get the. I love the fact that they do the crew montage, which is one of my favorite moments in this movie, where it's just like, okay, let's get the crew in. Here is a snapshot of all of these people from all of these other movies, and that's where we start getting everything tied in. Vince was a hint. It's like, okay, Vince is back. What else are they going to do in this movie? And it's like,
who else? When are you going to give that car back to Martin Luther?
Yeah. As soon as you give Rick James his jacket back.
Yep. I thought that whole introduction to each other scene was really great, because a couple people shooting the poops with each other that don't know each other. Then
Roman hits on Giselle, which was a giant mistake.
It's just really great. And like, you can tell there's a little bit of mistrust from people that don't know each other, but everybody kind of comes together once they figure out there's about $1 bajillion on the line.
Yeah. I think Roman does so good in this movie. Like, he was okay he's really good. But him and Tej in this steal the show, because their 100%. Relationship is so good. And
him coming back when he hears how much money is on the line is a genuinely funny moment.
Yeah, I know we just met and all, but sometimes I'd be thinking stupid, and my mouth get ahead of my brain. 100 million. It's like so good.
When he goes into the police station too to bring the FBI box.
It's a tan. You ever heard of a tan?
It's just like that whole scene is really good.
I love the setup for that, where it's just like they're gonna go in. And it's like 30 seconds of silence while they all just look at him as the person who's going to go in to do it. And he's like, why me? And like, because you got the biggest mouth.
Right. Yeah.
It's so good. And as my wife pointed out, because she watched this a little bit with me, I didn't make this connection. But when they do the first heist and they go in and then they get all the money at the first house and they burn it.
Yeah.
They do that because he can't take it back. Like, by burning the money, it's not a case of he finds them and he gets his money back. It's a case of that money is gone. You have lost that money, period. What are you going to do now?
Well, and I think it shows... I think that is such a great story writing thing, because it shows that, number one, the crew, the family, is not messing around.
And they're not stupid.
Yeah, and the second thing is they're not dumb. They're gonna burn the money, and they're making sure that Reyes, excuse me, I gotta sneeze. Is gonna funnel the money where they need him to, because he can't afford to have them burn
every single
10
one of them.
More giant mountains of money.
Yeah, it's a really clever touch. Of course, they don't realize that where it's going to get moved to, which is fantastic.
I had the only thing I knew about this movie was the vault heist, and when they show that scene where it's like it's in a police station, dude, I was like, oh no, like that's a really there's always that great twist in heist movies where it's like, this is going super well. that totally got messed up.
And that happens
That's real
like
bad.
4 times in this. Like it's like setup issue, setup issue, setup issue. I love the fact he gets moved to a police station and they start planning it. They do the whole vault, like, let's send Roman in with the remote control car, and he doesn't shut up while Tej is trying to find it. Again,
Tej is the worst driver.
Yes. A little note here from the Giant Bomb one. When they watched this, it was like, I think it's like Vinny, Dan, and Alex. And Alex said, Tej driving this car is like me trying to play Mega Man while you guys won't shut the hell up right next to me. It's like, okay.
That's great.
Really good.
That's good. Yeah.
I think Gersman, during the regular Bombcast, pointed this out, and I have never got this out of my head. Because they get the tech thing, they get the poop explosion, they get in, they can't hack the camera, so they need to basically operate around that. So they're like, okay, so we're going to need fast cars. And they go to the street racing meetup. Which is a flashback to the Fast and Furious of old.
Yeah, I remember talking about it, I think, in last episode, where it's like, I'm really kind of done with these, like, scantily clad women dressing in a back alley. And then I feel like they very much addressed that, where they show that whole traditional scene, and then Vin goes, it's good to be home. Just like, all right, fine, okay.
Yeah, but my favorite thing about that, thank you, Jeff Gersman, for this, is they go through the thing, they get the setup, they meet the local dude who runs, they meet the Vin Diesel of Brazil.
Right.
And they're like, okay, car for car, legend versus legend. Snap cut, blue car is now parked in their driveway.
It's so good because you know what happened. You don't need to see it. You've seen this for 4 movies. It's like, yeah, of course he won it. And this smug jerk is coming back with this blue car. Like, I got it. Like, was this ever in doubt?
And then the car's not fast enough. They need more cars. Snap cut. There's another one. Snap cut. There's another one. Snap cut. There's another one. It's such. It's like we have moved on from the street racing scene. We are now a more serious subject matter. In this case, heist movies. So
they're just collecting cars.
It's such a good little evolution of the series to be like, this used to be all we were about. Now it doesn't even matter in the grand scheme of things.
Yep. You know what happens.
It's like chef's kiss to that moment where it's just like, let's just not bother with this whole section.
Yep. Oh man. And I think we're right about there, but the police car heist was also really great because it's sort of like, we're just going to go in there and we're going to steal 4 police cars and no one's really going to stop us because this is what we do.
Yep. We missed the palm print, which was Giselle and Han's flirty moment. Which, full credit was due, Han is amazing in this movie as well. Like, Han was the best thing in 3.
He plays that really subdued role really well, where it's like, he's seen it all, he's been there before, he's just a cool dude.
I love that bit. You get the "This is Brazil" moment where they put the tracker on Hobbs's car because they're trying to avoid him. By luring him to the street racing scene. It's like, you think you're in America, this is Brazil, and everyone points the guns at him and blah blah blah. But yes,
that's right.
The Helena Vin Diesel scene happens as well, where he goes and gets the cross back from her, which he dropped in the favela chase way long ago. There is a Letty/husband discussion there. And
which I thought was really good.
Yeah, it's a really good like character building moment for Helena, and it also gives her a connection to the family that she probably wouldn't have otherwise. And it's a really nice little touch because it's shared trauma between her and Vin Diesel. They both had someone they care about lose their life trying to do a good thing,
right?
You know. But yeah, the cop car chase. Let's just jump into the impound lot, steal 4 cars. And my favorite
go for a joyride
is they do the $1 million quarter mile and Roman turns his sirens on.
Yes, he's the only one that's just like, we're doing something super illegal, I'm going to have some fun.
He's on a megaphone in the street talking about making a heist.
But $1 million quarter mile, and he's yelling it to the whole neighborhood.
My favorite thing, the sirens coming on, was because they were the prototype Chargers for the next year of release. And that was a bug in that Charger. They just came on completely randomly, and they left it in the movie because it was Roman's car.
That's great.
People who understand these characters and just the right place to make it stupid. And that's a perfect place to make it stupid.
Yeah. And I like that Vin Diesel lets O'Connor win.
And he doesn't notice.
And then he's like really pissed about it.
No, you don't get to take that away from me. It's like, yes, we do.
Right.
Because it's 100% what happened.
Oh, man.
Let's see, what's next? Yes, Hobbs finds them.
Yes. He just full on busts in and like, hey, what are you guys doing?
And literally crushes Vin Diesel's car to like an aluminum can. Like, the classic like Charger that he's always got is just smushed flat against the wall, and we get the two sides of beef fighting each other.
Just smacking into each other. I love that they're like fighting in a room and everyone else is in the background through a window in the other room just watching like, my God, this is terrible, but we can't stop this.
I love the fact that Vin Diesel is losing until he sees that Mia and Walker didn't get away, and then he gets family strength.
He does,
and then starts to win. It's just like, oh, that's so good. Great fight scene, fantastically. Literally, just every time I hear them punch each other, it's just two slabs of beef getting slapped against each other. It's great. I also love the fact that The Rock does do wrestling moves here. He does the kip up, he does the spear, he does like a German suplex and all kinds of stuff. It's like, embrace it, dude. That's perfect.
Lean into it, man. Like that's who you are / were. Like that's what people want to see.
And then everyone gets arrested, and we get the ambush. And Wildlands get taken out.
Boy, that's a hell of a scene. Even the second time watching it, it's like, this is pretty brutal.
And it's dark, too. Dark in a way that the series hasn't really been before.
Just like, hey, we're going to shoot all of these dudes, and then we're going to blow up, like, a bunch of them.
Yep.
If getting shot to death wasn't enough.
It's like the guy who's, like, barely alive, sticking it with his, like, half out the car, and then a grenade goes ding, ding, ding. And then a second one just goes ding, ding, ding. He's like, really?
Yeah.
We're going to go there? And then obviously we get the family rescue with everyone with their custom weapons, like Vinny with a shotgun, Paul Walker with like the M16 doing the proper military shooting style.
Yeah.
And
And then, of course, because he came back, Vince dies.
Yep.
In the most family way possible. It's like, you need to take care of my son. And Vin Diesel's like, I promise.
Yeah.
And then Vince just...
I got eyes on Nico.
Eyes on Nico.
It's a good line.
It is. I just...
Cause that's it.
And then, of course, he has to say, I named him after you. And it's like, oh, God.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, so then we get fueled by anger and screw the plan. We're just going to steal it.
The last half of the movie is an insane vault heist that I knew about. You know, we talked about it in the intro of this episode that you had said, like, boy, I sort of wish you hadn't known about stealing the vault. And I literally, all I know was they steal a vault and something happens through the city. I didn't, when they hook up the first car to it, I'm like, all right, that's cool. We're going to, like, drag it through wherever. That's
do a little drag and then steal it later down the line kind of thing.
Yeah, and then they hook up the second car.
You don't expect a 40-minute chase scene.
Like they hook up the second car and I'm like, okay, yeah, all right, I'm here for this. I'm here for two cars. And immediately that first turn they take with the two cars and the vault swings super wide and like goes through a building. I'm like, this is the coolest thing I've seen in a really long time.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. This is one of those movies where I wish we could swear because there are so many
holy poops moments.
Yeah.
Just one
moments.
after another where it's like, did you guys just destroy a bank? It's like, yeah, man, like you should have seen that last shot. Like that vault tore through that bank.
And the alley that they have to go through, and to stop the safe, they do the split up and hit two cars into each other with the safe to stop it.
It's so cool.
Almost all practical. It looks incredible. I don't know how many cars they destroyed in this sequence.
And like every car they hit with that vault, it just gets deleted. Like they're just like 5 pieces are left and they're little pieces of shrapnel. Like they just
the barrel rolls around the corner and then like corner first embeds itself into like an SUV and then it gets pulled off it and then there's just nothing left at the front of that SUV and it's just like so everyone's
just like a
dead.
Tin can.
Like
well, and it's so interesting because it couldn't be more the opposite from the tunnel chase scene from 4. like where that didn't make any sense and was just a CG blur. This is very much like, look, we have two cars that have been, the butt end of them has been reinforced, and they're just tearing this giant vault through Rio, and nobody cares what's getting in the way because it's just getting destroyed by this thing. And it's an incredible action sequence because you know exactly what's going on at every single shot. And there's never confusion about like, well, how did they even get here? Like, where are they? What's happening? All of it makes sense, and it's incredibly well done.
Yep, I absolutely adore this sequence. It's probably my favorite sequence in the entire series.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of impossible to beat. I mean, off the top of your head, can you think of anything that can beat literally dragging a multi-ton safe down the streets and using it like a flail? Like, they just they destroy so much stuff with it, and it's the whole two precision driver jokes come back because it's like they know exactly what to do, how to do it, when to do it, and they just do it on instinct. And meanwhile, you've had The Rock go in and arrest the lead guy who's in the police station for being crooked. And then there's this huge sequence, and it's like all of these dirty cops get taken out one after another, after another, after another. I love the we'll get to the specific thing in a minute, but I love we're getting overloaded here. And then there's Han and there's Roman in cop uniforms, in cop cars. Just destroying everybody who's left.
I love that multiple people in the crew have really embraced dressing for the part, because that's so important. I feel like in most heist movies that they focus on, we got to get the uniform, we have to make sure it's right and everything. And this one's just like, no, they're dressed up as cops, they're dressed up as other people, like they're playing the part.
And it's
so good.
Good afternoon, officer. License and registration, please. From Roman might be one of the best deliveries as he just rams people off the road. Yep. And then without knowing you get the switch out. Right. Did you catch it the first time you saw it, or
No, I didn't, because they do such a good job of, I think they mask it with the
bridge.
The viewer's excitement of, well, in the movie they mask it with the bridge, but I think they mask it with the viewer's excitement of like Han and Roman just got them so much time. They're in the clear. We can kind of take a breather now, but that's the moment when the switch off happens.
Yeah, and then we get the huge bridge, which they're going down the bridge, whatever, they're not going to get away, they're not quick enough. Vin Diesel sends Paul Walker on his way. And then we get our very first Nos of the movie.
And when the camera zooms out a little bit and the Nos is just at the bottom of the frame, it's just like, yeah, man, all right.
And then it does the backward shot, and it shows like just Vin Diesel with the one car trying to pull a safe. He hits the first one, the blue flames come out, and it just slowly starts rolling forwards. Cuts back to him in the cockpit, and he flips the second one, and all of a sudden it's wheelie, let's go.
Yeah, it's just like 3 or 4 Fast Saga moments all at once, where it's like, yeah, man, this is still super cool.
And he plays again flail / conquers with the only load of the people who's left.
Yep.
Great. I love the fact that, by the way, that the second in command for the bad guys always got away by the skin of his teeth. Like, everyone around him was always dead, and then he'd just appear in a frame and go, and then walk away. And then you get the minigun from the SUV. Great little moment.
That's
all
right.
All the cop cars get knocked off the bridge. And then, he does the swinging around, hit the brakes, jump out the car, everything's gonna die kind of thing. And bad guy still is alive. The second in command is still alive. Paul Walker shows up and shoots him. And then Reyes crawls out the car as The Rock arrives. And it's a great moment because there's no talking. There's no communication. There's no nothing. He literally, as he's walking past the main bad guy, he just pulls out his gun, which is, of course, like a 50 caliber huge revolver.
Like a desert eagle.
Yeah, and he's just like, pop, you're done. Gun back away.
He doesn't even break stride.
Nope.
Like he's just
good.
Oh right, that job's over. Yep. It's such a good moment because it's just like you're not even my focus. You don't deserve any of my time.
Yeah, it's so good. And then you get like the conversation, you've earned yourself 24 hours, but the money stays kind of thing.
I kind of liked that because it showed that Hobbs isn't a man without principles. You know, he's not totally
he's not a robot.
Not totally he's not a robot. Like, he's not totally immune to how the family is doing things, that now that he's known more
of the family.
That's right, the charms of the family. And I thought that was really good because it's like, I'm still coming for you, and you don't get what you wanted, but
you've got 24
We'll play this cat and mouse for a little bit longer.
Make peace with your demons.
Yeah.
And then I love the fact that like they're like cool, and then they drive off, and then him and Helena check the safe, and the safe is just empty.
Well, not even as empty, like it's brand new because it still has that wrapping on the inside. So it's sort of like, oh, okay.
Did you expect them to actually get the money at the end of it, or?
No, I sort of expected it to be like the end of 4, where it's like, all right, we won, but we sort of didn't get everything we wanted, but like everybody's okay. But as soon as he opened it and there's that brand new safe there, it's like, all right, man. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Like this is a real like Ocean's 11 sort of thing where it's like, no, man, like we already did that.
Like they do the flashback to like the garbage truck where they deposit the main safe and take away the fake safe.
Yep.
And Rock laughs, which I love the fact that he just finds it so funny that they got away with it. It's a really good moment. And the money montage. This was a movie full of montages.
Yes.
The money montage is so good. Like, I love that piece of music that they use. Like, I've seen this movie like 50 times, and every single time I'm like bopping along with the music at like 4 specific points, and this is one of them.
Yep.
Or it's just like, cool. Show what everybody does with their money. That's perfect.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Oh, man. Yeah, probably my favorite part is Tej and Roman saying like, "Oh, this is the only car in the Western Hemisphere."
I guess there
must be 2.
That's fantastic. I love the Han and Giselle where they're in Germany driving east
on the Autobahn,
and it's just like, "Oh, I thought you wanted to go back to Tokyo." I was like, "We'll get there eventually." Oh,
right. And I was just like, okay, putting it all together. I like that they don't ever go out of the way where it's like 10 months before Tokyo Drift. It's like, no, man, you can figure it out.
Yeah.
We put all the pieces in there.
It's a great montage. It's a great ending. And
I like the very end with
when Helena shows up.
Yeah, like she shows up with Vin, and Mia is very clearly much more pregnant, and they're just kind of hanging out and catching up, and then of course O'Connor can't let that race go. He's like, how about we do it one more time?
Yep. And it's like, nobody else, no money, no wages, just you and me. Can you handle the disappointment? Can you? That's how we roll.
Credits.
We roll like this. And what did you think of the stinger?
So, number one, it is very funny to see The Rock behind a desk
wearing a polo shirt.
Just like this mountain of a guy, like, oh, I gotta do this paperwork, gotta fill out the paperwork. And then of course Eva Mendes pops in. She's just like, hey man, by the way, I work here, whatever. Maybe you should look at this and look at it again. And then of course it's Letty, and it's just like, oh, right. You had to find some way to bring her back.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Thank goodness. Yeah, I that to me is the way you do one of these things where it's like, here's this return to form movie for the Fast Saga, and then there's still this one leftover thread that at the very end you're just going to pull a little bit and say like, I guess we'll see you next time, huh? It's like,
Yep. Fun fact, Michelle Rodriguez didn't know about that scene until she watched the movie in theaters.
That must be really cool.
Yep.
We're just like, hey, that's me. Wait, I'm back. Hey, all right.
Yep. She talked about it when doing like behind the scenes stuff for 6. She's like, nobody told me it was going to happen. It literally, I saw it at the theaters in the premiere with everybody, and like nobody said a word to me about it.
That's really great. Oh man, Fast 5 is really good.
So I'm guessing number 1 on the list.
Yeah, I would say pretty easily. It's so funny because like the last line of my notes here says obviously the whole vault heist was awesome, and then like I just didn't take a break from watching it until the little stinger was over.
Yeah.
And just like I said, it's really the first Fast Saga movie with a budget, and I think so much of the it feels like the studio is all in for the Fast Saga now, as opposed to just a bunch of Fast movies.
Yeah.
And I think
I can't remember who said it, but before this one, it felt like an IP.
Yeah, very much so, as opposed to like a series.
Like, just throw that on it. Whereas now it feels like a franchise.
Yeah, and I think the commitment from the studio and the increased budget and the score, and especially how much better literally everybody is, including Gal Gadot, at acting, is like...
Her jump between the last one and this one is insane. And
it really is.
Everybody, like we talked in 4, how it felt like everybody was finally settling into their characters. This feels like they are those characters. Like this is the one where it's like, yeah, everybody gets it. Everybody knows who they are. And like you said, like Gal Gadot, like this is the movie where you say, now I get why she goes on to become Wonder Woman. Now I get where that progression comes from. Like she really jumps up a lot in this. And I'll be honest, her jump doesn't stop here. She is so much better in 6. Like she jumps again to be so much better.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, and even like Roman is really great. Like you can tell it almost felt like some of these actors in previous movies were a little bit nervous, and like you said, they've finally settled into who these characters are, and they're really playing these roles really well.
Yeah.
God, it's so good, and I feel like there's kind of nothing to complain about,
Nope.
even like little nitpicky things. It's just like, you guys made a hell of a movie.
The only thing I've heard people complain about, and it's kind of written off in the movie in one line, is when did Tej suddenly become a master hacker?
Oh, sure. I had a life before I knew you guys.
Yep,
It's like,
that's the
good
line.
enough for me.
That's literally the one line that writes the whole thing off.
Yep.
It's like,
it's one of those things where it's like, good enough for me.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I don't care. I'm glad they have a tech guy. That's absolutely fine. Tej can be the tech guy. He probably needed something other than the gambling wheeler dealer kind of dude he was in the second one.
Right. Who's the worst driver ever? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Well, no, this movie moves. Like, it's 2 hours and change. It does not take a breath. And I think we talked about in 2 felt like a whole, like really a big long character sequence, then small action. And then Tokyo Drift was a better mix of action sequence, character. This is just action with a sprinkling of character sequences here and there. It's like 2-minute character sequence, 20-minute action sequence, 2-minute character sequence.
Yeah.
But the character sequences that they do are real, deep, meaningful sequences. There is nothing nothing dusty about them. It's not tiny little things. It's big moments, like the conversation about their dads between Vin and Paul Walker. That's a great moment. Like you learn about Mia's dad and his relationship with his dad, and also gives you more explanation as to why he reacted the way he did when his dad was put into the wall in the first one. Like, it gives you more depth than that, and it also lets you know that Paul Walker was probably troubled as a kid. Brian was probably a questionable kid, which is actually ripe for both criminal and cops. Like, that's a well-known recruiting tactic for both.
Well, there's even that little short scene when Vince comes back for the chip, and he like marches right over there and immediately knows where it is, and Vin Diesel's like, I really wish I hadn't seen that. It's just like there's so much behind so many of these, like you said, 2-minute long sequences that they're very impactful, and I feel like there's so much less cheesy than a lot of the other movies where those were sort of charming in a way, but these are exactly. And it's like in this one, it feels like it's so much. There's such a huge leap between the first 4 movies and this one that it's really crazy.
Yeah, and I adore this movie. This is, in my opinion, this is the best in the series.
Oh wow, okay.
6 is number 2 for me. But I don't think anything touches this movie, because this is, even if you like, it helps that we have the background that we've just watched all the 4 leading up to it. We've hit the middles, the lows, and the highs, and and then you come to this one. And not only if you watch it standalone, that's fine. It's a really good standalone movie. But when you've got that extra little knowledge about the background, like Vince is back. Like, that's a really... at the end of the day, he doesn't really matter, but they don't ever make a reference to the fact that really he was from the first movie.
Yeah, because a lot of other movies would have shown, like, that backyard barbecue from the first one, and, like, it's sepia-toned, and been like, oh, Vince, come join us at the table. Yeah. And it'd be like, no, man, he's here. If you remember him, cool. If you don't, whatever.
Yeah, they throw reference out, like You're Saying Grace. That's a reference to the first one.
Yep.
This is Rome. He's the guy who pulled that job with down in Miami. That's an entire movie described in one sentence.
Yeah. It's so good. I went in to the movie with fairly high expectations, because the thing you hear about this movie is, hey, this is my favorite Fast Saga movie by a quarter mile. But watching it that first time was just sort of like, man, this is really something special. Like, this is an incredible action movie, a really great heist movie, all of it kind of wrapped up into one.
Yeah.
And then I watched it again I watched it the first time on my phone, and then I wanted to watch it the second time on, like, a bigger TV. And boy, that movie looks real good.
Yep. Yes, it does. Like, it's incredible. And I'm probably guessing this is the first one that you've watched twice. Like, I'm assuming you didn't watch any of the others, really.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. The other ones, because my level of excitement about this was so strong that we record this on Sunday. Monday night, like the next opportunity I had to watch it, as soon as I went to bed and, like, everybody was settled in, I immediately started and was like, I gotta watch this. And, like,
literally, when we finished
the next day, I watched it again.
I watched it the second we finished recording. I went downstairs and I watched it, and then I tweeted. He was like, "Yeah, I'm done with Fast 5."
Yeah, I would have done that had I not had to edit, but yeah, it's really great, and I'm really looking forward to the next one, just to continue the Fast saga.
Yep, the reboot,
and
continues.
It is a real bummer. A little peek behind the scenes. It's a real bummer that Fast 9 got delayed by about a year, because it would have been in theaters around the time we would have gotten
done with
there
this.
in this series. So that's a little bit of a bummer. But okay, well, that's wrapping up Fast 5 and our recent family movies. So we'll see everyone next episode for the next movie. Bye.
Bye.